Hi, hello everybody. My name is Minda, and I would like to share with you today an experiment which I went through, which as far as I look online, it might be one of the richest dry fasting experiments done, like consciously. And I would like to share the details how it went, and hopefully it will inspire you to believe what's possible about food, and you can say it could be maybe a start for checking, is that vegetarianism possible? Like, of course, I have a lot of doubts, and but you never know. So I want to be tester for you, and probably I will be updating later with more videos how it goes. But of course, I would like to try next time fully as possible. So the first period was 9 days of kind of rigid, let's call it rigid dry fasting. And then at the midnight, I didn't expect it, but I drank 1.5 liters of water. I didn't expect it to break, but it happened because of not the perfect preparation. And in the morning, I drank another 1.5 liter, and then I started another phase, which I made another 7 days, as well, mainly rigid. But yeah, I washed hands maybe twice in that period. I got some drops of rain as well, so that's like 16 in 16.5 days. 16 days of dry fasting, rigid dry fasting in 16.5 days, and then I decided to do another 5 days after. By the way, after the 7 days period, I drank 1 liter of with 1 liter water in 1 lemon, and then another liter I drank with 1 mandarin juice. Okay, and then I drank another liter of water. So totally it took me 4 or 5 hours to drink all those 3 liters. It was not easy, surprisingly, but I wanted to see my urine, because it was always urinating in the brown color. So I wanted to clear up a little bit. But I didn't make 5 days. I broke after 4 days. So basically I made 20 days in 21.5 days, and I was kind of happy to do. I wanted to leave reserve. After 16 days, I got off the seclusion a bit, and I was going in the house, which is maybe 200 meters, to a bit talking, and then using a bit of internet and checking what's more about this dry fasting and vegetarian possibilities, why it's going so easy. On 11th and 12th day, I was happy that I had in my phone Ray Moore's book, electronical book. So I read that, and also his second video of TV experiment he did, TV experiment of 8 days in Israel, where he was like observed, like in closed environment, filmed environment, and he calls himself now the first like a proved experiment, like a Western experiment of prana or so. The doctors examined him, and there was blood taken and so on, and some sponsor even gave him like 100,000 euros. I'll try to do to share with you as much details as I can, and then if you like, you can ask some questions, and add more details about aspects which are more interesting. So I did 20 days or like over 20 days of dry fasting. There are two ways to do dry fasting. It's a hard and soft way. I'll call it a rigid way instead of hard, because it was not hard, okay, for me. So rigid form means that you not only not take water and food, but you also do not shower, you not rinse your mouth, you don't do enemas, you're trying to avoid contact with water. Okay, so in 21.5 days, the start was I did 9 days rigid dry fasting, which I would say it's about like 70-80% of rigidness, because I had once washed the hands and a bit of penis, and then it was very raining, and I settled myself kind of quickly in the tent in the jungles. So there was not the perfect situation where like some water, and if you want to walk a bit, your legs of course will be wet. So just to continue introduction, as you see me now, I'm about 4.5 days after that experiment. In those 4.5 days I basically mouth juiced fruits and diluted mainly like 30% of concentration of juice of like watery basically fruits. Yesterday I also introduced a bit of fatty proteinish one fruit called Agua. All details I'll put in the link below. Okay, like what did I use so far as a calories. Okay. So this is how I look. I don't know if you can see me. So I'm with shoes because here it's some spiky plants. I weighed myself yesterday. I weighed 77 kilos. When I started experiment in the airport, I weighed myself quickly. I was about 91 kilos. So let's say in 20 days, now let's say in 3-4 days, I probably gained 3 kilos at least. So that would make about 17 kilos probably in 21 days. So I got a bit of sun, of course, in the second part of dry fast. Yesterday had a 6 kilometers walk, kind of hilly walk into the town, and then played a bit of light basketball, like maybe 30 minutes, and yeah, I don't feel like full. The shots were like off the target a lot, but I still win the game with one Australian guy who we played a game of 21. It's not exactly basketball, and yeah, I was glad to do that. And then we walked back about 4 kilometers, and I felt past the town test, like it's a bit more warmer. Also, all kind of like, you can say all kind of temptations, you know, like it could be 0 temptations. Okay, so I just maybe show. Let's do push-ups maybe. Okay, so you can see what's possible. I did few attempts during the process. Like 15, it was looking easy during dry fast at day 16 and so on, so looking faster. But usually I didn't exercise, didn't felt like exercising, just a lot of just staying in the tent. From day 9, like reading a lot. Well, first 9 days I spent a lot of in darkness, covering eyes, relaxing, like just doing relaxations and so on. So let's do some pull-ups. Let's see what I can do. And wide hands I'll do usually. Okay. No, probably that's it. So that's 40 push-ups after all this rest. When I came here I did 33 or 35, I can't remember, just once. Was happy to see that I still can do so much, because where I was the last in Canada I was needed to wait, and I was waiting a lot in the car. I was just eating some some foods, like even like going to all you can eat like 5 times in maybe 10 days. Even in the even in the airport I still had the chips, fruitarian. Okay, but I was preparing myself that I will try to do something like 5, 7 or 9 days dry fast, and was committing myself to 5 months raw fruity experiment. But what's happening now, I'm now like trying to do something closer to Britannian, and I feel that very helps to the fruity understanding. Like, I really recommend you to touch juicerian or kind of level of knowledge or breatharian, so then you can go down and it looks normal to be on fruits. Okay, but of course this is just experiment. Of course, don't do it yourself, as there is a general recommendation: don't do more than 5 days of dry fasting on your own. I had a little bit of supervision every couple days coming, my friends coming and just checking, but then it looked like going so easy. But still, who knows? Who knows when something might happen, you know, even in the jungles, whatever. Some kind of tree will fall or so on. So anyway, I did now 40 push-ups, and of course I'm a bit lighter, so that means I'm a bit still weaker, but power at the same level, or just because I'm lighter. Okay. A couple comments about the peeing. So as you know, during dry fasting, or you maybe don't know, or I even maybe don't know exactly, but the difference between water fasting and dry fasting, that during a dry fasting, the cells basically kind of compete for resources, and the weakest one dies. So the kind of sick one's supposed to like dry, and they supposed to be recycled. Okay. So the same way as the junk and crap and the swollen limbs are like processed, you get some. That's the way body creates water. Somebody claims it's about 1.2 liters of water the body can create during dry fast. So my peeing was pretty stable. My bladder usually kind of smallish, which I'm not sure why. So usually I pee maybe 200-300 milliliters, but during this dry fast I was peeing 3 times a day, about 150-200 milliliters. every time, and it was brown, brown, and brown, and brown. In the second part, like from day, let's say 14 or so, when I was keeping pee to watch, I was not seeing sediments. It's more or less the same as before. But if you keep the pee, you can see some kind of gluish with a saltish on the walls, kind of salt, kind of bit like a collection, and it's like a cloudiness at the bottom, like maybe 5 millimeters or so in, let's say, 10 centimeters height. Yeah, so another moment to mention, when I did first drink after 9 days of dry fasting, I drank, let's say, 1.5 liter in the midnight, and then another 1.5 liters in another 7 after wake up. So the next pee after this, 3 liters, was maybe 100 milliliters more. That's it. And of course it was the same brown, maybe a little bit lighter. I have a little bit of beliefs or head of experience of urine therapy, but of course this time, because the urine is very brown, I didn't touch that. I didn't drink. On the day 16, I think, when I did first shower, I actually did first time in my life kind of like urine shower, which was encouraged by my very good friend Owen. But after that I didn't do more. There was nothing wrong. It's fine. It was fun to try. I swam in the creek. Yeah, that's about pee. There we go, nice books we have. Medicinal Plants of Costa Rica. It's not a book, it's just a leaflet of collection, and this book is about the fruits, yeah. A couple comments about the pooping, which is it's kind of interesting for me as well. So before I started fasting, this rigid dry fasting, I only ate fruits two first days. And just before starting, it was a lot of plantains, which was plantains. It's like kind of bananas, but they were not super ripe as they still were they're usually a bit more starchy or so. So I ate that up to like 11 p.m. or like 11:30 p.m. actually, and it was a lot with few rambutans. And my first poop was, I think it's in third day, was very yellow, nice, normal poop. And now what's more important, second poop still didn't happen. It's now 21.5 days and another 4.5. So 26 days. So let's say in 3 days I had one poop, and I still don't have second poop. And I don't feel any symptoms. Nothing happens. The only symptoms with stomach I had when I did that second drink after 16 days, which was with a lemonish water, and second liter was with orange juice. So that lemon, I think, was kind of, it gave me a bit acidic feeling in the stomach, like a bit of like acidic, which it's okay. It's not too much. But so that's why I kind of drank a third liter as well, and I also still was wanting to see a bit of more clearer pee as well, because I thought like, oh, brown and brown and brown and brown. Even though during those 4.5 days I kind of chewed, let's say, mouth juiced, but also a little bit of fiber, like a waterapples. I put something just wanting to have that second poop, but it's not coming. So that's interesting. And as I said before starting, so 2 days on fruits, and before that was like, yeah, as I said, even like French fries in airport, just to celebrate before my 5 months starting fruity. And before was, yeah, like I gained weight, 91, 92. That's a lot. Like I usually weigh about 85, 87, 84. So That's about pooping. Few comments about skin. I have to say that this dry fasting, 21 days, didn't really improve my skin much. But they say you kind of reset your body, you renew a lot of things, including intestines in the stomach, where some kind of bacteria stay and they call for cravings. Somebody says you only have impact of 5% if there are bacteria which can just call by binding with neurocells and connection with the brain neurocells. They just call for cravings, and we are kind of hopeless. Of course, you probably heard about subconscious power against our conscious power, which is 10 times weaker. So yeah, my skin didn't really improve. I had let's say even for ages. Even mainly I eat a lot of fruits, a lot of fruits, as much as possible, to half of a day, afternoon, and then the last 6 months was at the end of the day something cooked, raw till four mainly the last 6 months. Could be sometimes you cheat on some soya when you need to dry quickly, and you just unconscious eating and have some trends of overeating or late eating as well. So for example, I had this leishmaniosis called 1.5 years ago. Less than 1.5 years ago, called flesh eating disease, which potentially it's a parasite brought by sandfly, and potentially it's deadly. About 20,000 people die every year, but it's mainly in Asia. But a lot of people get here as well. That leishmaniosis, they say you get it once and then you kind of vaccinated by nature. So I had this, and I battled it naturally, and the skin for me looks more or less the same. I'm not very good on observations, but looks more or less the same. I also have in the inner part of the leg some kind of looking like eczema. On one of the side more, on another just a little bit, and it's sometimes itchy. It's still rigidly standing, so I'll see how it goes after fasting. And if you know what it is, let me know. I would be glad to hear what it is. I never come up with idea what it can be. Also during and it's actually that thing came up maybe 4 months ago, while I had it maybe 3-4 years before, and it gone last year in the summer. It gone. I was whoa, proud. I thought this is because of moving. And this year in the summer in Canada, I have more or less same circumstances and a lot of moving, and it came back. And I thought it may be a relationship with some teeth. My teeth were not the strongest either. What I understand, it's a bit of possibly genetically. I don't want to blame on genetics as much, but I messed up by not cleaning interdentals and still mixing food. When you binge, you mix foods. So if some sticky parts that are there, bacteria will eat and they create acids and they will make a host, and that's what happened. But that was not the case for that kind of examish part. Maybe I'll make it even a photo. I was a bit bitten, of course, by bed bugs. I had a mattress in my tent, so first few days I had bitten by bed bugs, but it went away pretty quick. After that, I think I was not bitten anymore. I also had a small cut by covering a bit tent with some big wild banana leaves, and that cut's still there. I cut it maybe 5 days ago. It's healing, but it's still there. So there is some kind of rigidness in my body, and maybe that's why it was easy to do this fast. It's still kind of like locked somewhere, or some kind of toxicity or something, which doesn't allow body natural healing processes. What else about the skin? Yeah, of course, the freckles, for example, right? You know, freckles, when you get sweat, and then if you get the sun, they're not moving at all. They're not moving at all. So far, but I'll let you know if they will move. I got this like maybe 7 years ago by walking into the Tenerife mountain, just in 1-2 days, and it's still like 7 years, nothing happens, even a lot of fruity eating. So that's about the skin. Thank you. A few interesting details about the sexual energy, or first day of dry fasting I had, if you know, pollution, and surprisingly second day again I had pollution, and it was like I usually wake up and I can kind of manage it, you know. And that second day was like out of nowhere, like didn't notice at all. There was no dream involved, as usually happens. And then on the third day, actually masturbated as well. So I lost some energy in that way, if you know what that means. Thank you. Meditation. I have a struggle doing meditation. It's been 6 months I was not doing meditation, or maybe very, very casually, and especially to do meditation in the evenings. Okay, so it doesn't look like I can do it. I'm getting more beliefs how it's important to nourish soul, and when soul is nourished, then maybe we don't need more addictive things like whatever, some visual things or junk food, or feeling better. So during this experiment, I had the time to do meditation, and I did it. So it's over 21 days. You could say 21 days you need to create a habit. I have to say it was still hard. Still not motivating. I actually am initiated even second time this year. In January was second time initiated in Ananda Marga movement, which has a proud kind of activism part for the human family, which are really touching me. But the meditation doesn't yet. And